Everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Make sure you like the video and hit subscribe. Before we go any further, for all kinds of New York Jets content, we're searching over the 4,000 subscriber mark, so join the army, baby. Some sexy new news is coming through the old ticker, and the New York Jets are set to host one of my favorite free agents still left on the board for the New York Jets, and arguably one of their biggest needs. Let's give a shout out, of course, to Tiffany Blackman, the ESPN sportscaster, who dropped this phenomenal, juicy nugget. And it's this, that Calais Campbell, the veteran defensive lineman that was released by the Baltimore Ravens before free agency, he already went on a visit with two teams, the Atlanta Falcons earlier this week and also with the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. There are two new visits set up for the big man formerly of Baltimore with the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills, which, by the way, absolutely titillates my juices because I freaking love Calais Campbell. We'll get into why here in just a second. And let's throw this up on the board just so it's known that I'm no bandwagon hopper. I tweeted out this back on March 15th. Two free agents I'd like to see the Jets aggressively pursue: Calais Campbell and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Well, C.J. ended up signing a crazy cheap deal with the Detroit Lions, but look at right here. Boy Green, March 15th, 7:38. Hey, we said it, baby. And then, of course, after we sent that out, a lot of Jet players, by the way, liking this tweet. They were on board potentially with the Jets bringing in Calais Campbell to the board. Even Calais Campbell, if you look at some of that Twitter activity, liking a few of the Jets signings, a little bit of flirtation back and forth. And of course, there's a lot of connective tissues potentially with the Jets and Calais Campbell. Number one, Joe Douglas, the general manager of the New York Jets, spent his first 14 years in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens as a scout. He also kind of performed a variety of other tasks. And while he didn't necessarily cross over directly with Calais Campbell, who was with the Ravens for the last 3 years from 2020 to 2022, obviously Joe Douglas has plenty of connections with that Baltimore Ravens organization that he can tap into to get the latest insight on Calais Campbell. And by the way, also, if you guys would like to follow along, in the YouTube description down below is a brand new article discussing this very visit. We'll be diving into plenty of the details here on the video, but if you guys like to read left to right, up and down, there's an article down below for Heavy on Jets, baby. Hashtag branding. Wink on Calais Campbell. Now, obviously, Calais Campbell is much closer to the end of his career than the beginning. He's 36 years of age. He will turn 37 right before the start of the 2023 season, and he did announce during Super Bowl week that he will return for his 16th, count it, 16th NFL season. He was drafted back in 2008 as the 50th overall pick in the second round. He's played for three teams during his NFL career. The first half of it, of course, with the Arizona Cardinals, 2008 to 2016. He was with the Jaguars as a big free agent splash, 2017 through 2019. Then he joined the Baltimore Ravens. The accolades speak for themselves. 6 Pro Bowl nominations. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2017, also made the second-team All-Pro in 2014, 2016. And really a thing that I think should really rev the engine beyond some of those statistical measures is he's a former Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. This is a guy that revs the engine. This is a guy that can be a leader coming in here. And at this stage of his career, obviously he's ring chasing. That's one of the pieces of the resume that just hasn't been there for Calais. He's been close a handful of times, but hasn't been able to get over the hump, of course. He's a guy that I'm sure would like a ring, and I just have to say, I saw Richie, our good buddy Jets Media, had joined us for the first time, by the way, earlier this week on the show. We'll have him on again. He talked about, again, Jets ring chasing, same sentence. The Jets, of course, haven't won the Super Bowl in 54 years, but players believe on the free agent market they become a little bit of a destination this offseason, and people believe the Jets could be winning rings, and that's why players potentially are coming, like OBJ, Ezekiel Elliott, Calais Campbell here potentially. But this Campbell one is one that's very high on my priority list, and quite frankly, perhaps the highest of anybody. This is a guy that is 6'8", a hulking human being at 307 plus pounds. He can play inside, he can play outside. The Jets' interior defensive line depth is non-existent. So you have Quentin Williams, he's a stud muffin, obviously a centerpiece of your defense. But Nathan Shepard somehow got $15 million from the Saints. Good for him. I mean, I want his agent. $15 million there. Sheldon Rankins gets a 1-year deal just under $10 million with the Houston Texans, but bippity boppity boop. There's no gosh darn depth here. The Jets re-signed Solomon Thomas. They still have no depth. You have Quinnen Williams, you have Solomon Thomas, and that's friggin' it, man. So you need some juice. You need some Brutus beefcake, a little chutzpah, if I may, on the interior of that defensive line. And the Jets don't have it. So you bring in a guy like Calais Campbell, where he's not going to have to play a massive amount of snaps. The Jets like to rotate their defensive linemen, but this is a guy who could be a leader immediately. You bring a little bit of that to the table. He's massive. He can contribute both in the run defense game and also the pass rush game. He has 99 sacks in his 15 years in the league. So obviously he will push over that 100 sack total with the New York Jets. This is a guy that's incredibly physical. He's a monster, and I would love for the Jets to add him to the team. So the Jets are set to host him for a free agent visit at some point coming up this week, and I'm hoping the New York Jets can give him an offer he can't refuse. Maybe that's not necessarily financially driven, but the Jets have been diving into some interesting waters, like Fletcher Cox throwing some big money around. So I don't know money-wise what it's going to take for Calais Campbell, but this is a guy I want on the friggin' New York Jets, baby. We've been pounding the table for a week plus talking Calais Campbell, and I'd like to see him take his talents to the Big Apple, take his talents to New gosh darn York, baby. Let us know in the comment section if you're all on board with the Calais Campbell potential addition, and let us know in the comments below what you make of it. Again, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe down below for more fantastic New York Jets content. We had a lot of great guests this week. If you guys would like to stay on the channel, check out a couple more videos. We had a live stream with Will Parkinson, New York Jets insider. We had Richie join us from Jets Media earlier this week. Randy Mueller, a former NFL general manager, to give us the insight on Joe Douglas's wide receiver musical chairs earlier this week. A lot of great stuff. Make sure you guys check it out on the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you the next time there's news to discuss, which I imagine is sooner rather than later.